Make some noise if you are ready to start the Canada 200 for the 42nd running. All right, from 5, are you guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentlemen, start your engines. And just like that, Cam, the field is firing. We are getting ready for 200 action-packed laps. Well, this is going to be a barn burner of a race. The field, the biggest in recent memory, 26 cars down from 27 because Tyler Robinson blowing the rear end in his car. How cool is it to see his dad, Dale, and what is the biggest race of the year, just step outside and let his son into that car so that he can compete in the race?
As a dad myself, this would mean a lot to be able to provide that ride for your son, and I'm sure that Tyler really appreciates it, and I think his dad's going to enjoy sitting back and watching his son have at it.
All of the broadcast, as well as West Shore Towing, everybody else stepping in to bring this to you, the fans at home and the fans here at West Shore Motorsports Park as we get ready for the Canada 200. And of course, the Shockwave Pace Truck leading the field around. Big thanks again to West Coast, or rather the Keg, sponsoring the drone cam as well this year, formerly the West Coast Tire and Wheel drone cam as your field. Weaving, trying to get some heat in the tires, heat in the engines before 200 long action-packed laps. All right, again, the field behind the Shockwave Pace Truck at the moment, continuing to cycle around. As the parade laps beginning, this is the chance for the drivers to check over their race cars to make sure that everything is A-OK. At 200 laps, again, we'll have the halfway break coming up at lap 100. It might come up sooner, Cam, based off of caution times as well.
Yeah, I think the strategy for everybody here is just to be clean. With this many cars on the track, unfortunately, there is the possibility of a big wreck, and that could take out a few key contenders, and you don't want to be one of them.
26 of the best late models in BC. Quickly, Cam, before it started, what is everybody thinking right now? What are the nerves?
Everybody's just going to grip that steering wheel and be ready for that green flag.
Looks like the Shockwave Pace Truck is still out in front of the field. We might hold off here for one extra lap as the Pace Truck will duck in, coming off of turn number 4. We are going to go green this time. The Canada 200 is go! Into the first turn, everybody filing so far as they head down the back straight. Wes Mader has a huge jump on the field, and if this thing stays clean and green through the opening lap, that is going to be huge for Mader. As you can see, everybody behind him is side-by-side, Cam.
It's very important to get a good jump off the start. He's probably feeling really good about that, but he is going to be coming up on slower cars. We know that in probably 20 or 30 laps.
Wes Mader out by his lonesome in front. We'll see if we can get a look at the battle for third that is happening right now. Right behind him is, we got a spinner over in turn number 3. Trevor Adelman has spun the 47 car. Trevor is back up and running as Wes Mader leads the way. You can see the tail end of Trevor trying to get the 47 machine back up and running. A little bit of a dust cloud, but fortunately, we stay green for the moment with Wes Mader still out in front. And oh no, in turn number 1, we have another car around. The 33 of Dave Haworth. You can see him sitting in the drone. That was one of the guys that was really up at the front.
It's nothing really to worry about as long as these cars are very finicky, and hopefully it wasn't too hard of a hit and they didn't knock the fast out of it, but he does have a lot of time to get back to where he needs to go.
Yeah, definitely an interesting situation playing out is Dave, the 33 car, who was up at the head of the field, and I believe Dave was inside of the top 5. In fact, he was running in third at the moment of that yellow flag, the first one in this 200-lap affair coming out early.
Well, they're both very capable, and I think they know that, so they got to just remain cool and do what they got to do.
So the field continuing to cycle around under yellow, and again, we'll have 3 laps of caution that won't count, followed by anything after that third lap. The caution laps will start counting. So that is an important added element from last year's race, where the yellow laps didn't really count until there was a big time time crunch. You have 3 laps really to get everything back up and running. How much pressure does that put on the cruise cam?
It's actually a bit of an advantage should you get a tire going down and you want it to quickly duck in. I mean, you can get back out on the lead lap if you don't take too long. You got 3 laps to do it. It's a good thing.
And we're getting a good look out of the side street. Smith's car is that'll give us a good indication of just how much ability they have, as well as how hard Rory is working the wheels. As we believe have been given the 1 to green sign, so we will be going racing what's time around. As the Shockwave pace truck gets ready to pull off, they will be pulling the pace truck in turn number 4 throughout the evening. The normal protocol, of course, through turn number 2. So the field tightly bunched. Wes Mader has control of everybody, riding on board with Brandon Carlson on the outside of 2 for this restart. We are back racing here on lap number 7. And Rory Smith is going to use this restart to get up in front of Wes Mader, but Mader's going to come back to his inside. There you can see how close they are running, and Rory Smith with the power to get around him. You can see those cars, how they kind of roll over on to the right-hand side cam. These are designed to really drive off of that right-hand tire.
Absolutely. You'll notice when they put the power down, the car squats and it takes off and goes.
And the yellow flag waves. So, looks like Sean Whitley, and we'll try and get a shot of Sean's car, stopped over there in turn 4, riding on board now on the broadcast with Rory's at 16 machine. Sean back up and running, but he does have the window net down, which is never a good sign.
No, it's not. That's tough luck. But the top 8 cars there had really settled in and had a good pace going, and probably could have had some rhythm, and that's what you want.
So Whitley limping his machine into the pits, and hopefully they can just pop a new tire on that as we have the keg drone cam shot from high above West Shore Motorsports Park. There you can see the crew furiously working at the right rear of Sean Whitley's machine. Sean's brother Mike is working the jack. They're getting the right rear tire put on there. Dirk Zeinstra, Alex McClellan also going in, and they are definitely taking a lot of time. And Rory Smith is on the inside of the front row, starting on pole now. He's got Brant Carlson on his outside. We're riding on board right now with Rory ahead of the restart. And you're going to see the attitude change. He's nice and relaxed now, but he's about to get up on the wheel. As the Shockwave pace truck will pull off, you'll see the pace start to quicken from on board of the 16 machine. And we are back racing. Rory Smith leads the field back to green. So again, those yellow laps are counting, and we got a jam session in turn number 1. Oh boy, the yellow is going to fly again. And a lot of parked cars in turn number 1. A lot of chaos early as we get a look at that, and Brandon French I saw on the outside somehow got around in that 74 car. Corey Mears did a half spin to try and avoid him, and Dave Haworth just can't get a break tonight, getting involved in his second incident with Russ Jansen kind of jacking him up from behind in that 65 car. Continuing to cycle around under yellow, Rory Smith, your race leader up until this point, and we got to the point where we've got through our 3 free, easy for me to say, caution laps where they don't count. I believe we're starting to count laps. So the lap count is starting to go up now. 17 laps have been completed. Of course, the number 65 Ranson, I believe, will be coming out on the racetrack right now. You can see Russ on the Steakhouse and Bar drone cam, and unfortunately looks like Wes getting out of the fast repair lane and going straight into his pits. So a tough break there for Russ Jansen in the 65 machine. The yellow is still out here at the Canada 200. Dale Robinson, now Tyler Robinson getting to the inside there as we cut back to your race leader, Rory Smith, out in front on lap number 24 of 200. And now these guys can hopefully start settling into a race pace.
And when you get to a pack, hopefully your pack catches up to a slower pack, and you might pick off one of your competitors and get a position without having too hard.
And we are just seeing here, just out of the broadcast shot, but behind the scoreboard, or rather the advertising billboards, Dave Haworth has pulled the 33 car. He has steam coming out of the radiator. So something from that last yellow getting some damage with Dave Haworth, and one of your favorites early, this one is out of the race. And if we do go back to that in-car camera at the wheel, what is that an indication of?
That means he's trying to get in. He's trying to put down some good laps.
I think you can see Carlson is also a guy that we were mentioning is searching around a little bit, closed up in on Wes Maynor, and he's kind of putting the pressure on. But the top three guys away from the rest of the field. Is that? I don't know if we can get a shot, as you see from the overhead cam, that Kurt Rompane has found his way up to fourth in the 55. We have an interview now with Dave Haworth, one of the pre-race favorites who had a very, very early end to his evening, and he is down with Kevin Chirac. Kevin?
Oh yeah, I was just trying to pass, going for second, or I can't remember what position it was, and I'm up beside the guy and going to the corner, and he just chops me in the middle, and I tried to back out, and we collected and spun. So it's unfortunate. I mean, you think we have spotters in the stands, radios for a reason, but some people just misjudge the corner sometimes. I don't know what it was, but then the second accident was just, I had no control. Yeah.
A little bit of misfortune, bad luck, you think?
Yeah, the only reason I parked it, we damaged the rad. It's overheating, so otherwise the car was really good. I had a car to win tonight.
Yes, so still field cycling around under yellow, and we will throw it to a quick commercial break and be back with the rest of the racing action once we go green here from West Shore Motorsports Park.
And like I said before, this would be a great time to put 10 or 20 laps behind you without using up too much of equipment.
So the top four kind of running away right now from Kurt Rom. It'll be interesting to see if that's by design or if this is just the race pace that is taking place. Is a cute little fan up there. There you can see the cam looking down at the finish line and the fans that have gathered here today for the Canada 200 as the cars come streaking by at almost 100 miles an hour.
And it getting too dicey or anything like that. I think a lot of these lap guys have been showing respect to the leaders as they come around. The 49 car of Taylor, or Robinson, I should say, he was very gracious in letting these guys through, and he got back down and went back about his business.
Where Rory picked the wrong line in that moment.
That's gonna happen. Nothing to sweat. It could be his way the next time, and he knows that.
And we are back green off of turn number 4 with 91 laps completed, make 92 at the start-finish line. Yes, as Brandon Carlson, the number 14 machine, back up into second. Thomas slotting back into third. He's settling into a bit of a race pace at the moment with 94 laps completed for the halfway break. From the stand cam, which again, we are very glad to have everybody back here at West Shore Motorsports Park. Quick run through the field, looking at everybody, how they have worked themselves out. Dave Smith at the tail end, and Brandon Carlson really putting the pressure on Rory Smith right now as they come off at turn number 4. As Rory Smith just has to hang on for 2 more laps to get to that halfway break as your leader. There you can see Wes Maynor has fallen back quite a bit after a little bit of a moment, and that is going to do it for the first half of the Canada 200. And they were just waiting in that situation for all the cars to pass around the timing and scoring loop to make sure that everybody gets scored so that they can freeze positions when they come to a stop in the front straight. And what these guys can do now is minor adjustments, as well as put fuel in these cars so that they are good to go for the second half of this race. And there you can see the lineup of crewmen is growing down there. And Cam, with a full crew this year, it's going to be a little bit less frantic than with the one guy, but still, if you have a race car where you're not quite happy with it, this is the time to make some serious changes, as serious as you can make it.
A small tire pressure change can really mean a lot, especially as these tires get worn down. They're a different tire from when they're new with something that's got 150 laps on. It's time to make that adjustment, maybe put some weight around on these jacking bolts. You might see somebody bring a wrench out and go through the rear window. That's what they're doing. A couple turns here, a couple turns there could make race car on these worn out tires.
You saw the top 10 rundown there. The number 16 of Rory Smith, your race leader, heading into the halfway break. 14 of Brandon Carlson sitting in second for the halfway break. The 5 of Thomas in the third position. Spencer Carlson, the 41, in fourth. There you can see the crew members have been released for the halfway break, which I believe will be 10 minutes in length. So the teams having that length of time to work on their race cars. On the broadcast side of things, we'll throw it to another commercial break and then come back and hopefully chat to some of the drivers that have been up at the front of the pack for the Canada 200 presented by Shockwave in the city of Langford out here at West Shore Motorsports Park.
Well, he's led pretty much from the start. Rory, just how pleased are you with the first half of this race?
First half has gone good. Couple lap cars there that was a bit of a challenge, and having Brandon up front with me is just makes it even better. Racing a good buddy.
Yeah. How's the car feeling heading into the second half here?
I think we got a pretty good car. We're going to make a couple small changes, and hopefully we can keep her to the front.
It's a really crowded field. 22 cars remaining. Just what was it like? Pretty hectic out there. It looked. But what was it like out there for you?
It wasn't bad, really. All the guys up front are really good and smooth. You get to the lap cars, and some of them are a little hard to pass, just you don't know where they're going, but we'll keep battling through.
You're out of Chosen, so this is definitely a home race for you. I know you didn't have fans last year, and you guys are just locked in, but are you getting a sense of a lift from the fans tonight?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Lots of friends and family here, and this one's for Grandma.
I love it. Rory, finally, what's it going to take to wrap this thing up?
100 more laps, they out front. I'd like to thank Tom's Overhead Doors, Suncraft Construction, Sean Septics, Raptor Excavating, and Central Tel Utility Services.
All right, there you go. Well, he's West Shore Motorsports Park late model champ this year for a reason. Rory Smith, he leads the way. Cole, we'll send it back to you.
Veteran move there. I like that.
Of course, sponsors a big part of Racing Cam, and we see the support out here, not just on the race cars, but on this broadcast, as well as all around this racetrack. The racing community here in the West Shore is just huge.
It absolutely is, and racing has a very strong brand loyalty. You put your name on these cars, these people support these fans, these drivers, the crews, they'll support your business. This is a great place to advertise.
There you can see that lap traffic that Rory was mentioning, a little spin there for Camiat in the 35 machine, bringing out one of the early yellows in that race, and definitely not what Mark wanted in that 35 car. But back up front there you can see now Brandon Carlson when he got up into the second position, Corbin Thomas up in third. Those top three guys were pretty much how it ran for the entire second half of the first half of this race.
Still sitting P4 at the first 100, and we still got a long way to go.
Yeah, Rory was flying, pretty much led from the start. How do you catch him?
Well, welcome back to West Shore Motorsports Park. You have the rundown of the field so far, as we've mentioned. A man who's been getting a lot of airtime tonight, Rory Smith, bringing home the first half of this Canada 200 in first in that 16-car. Brandon Carlson second in the 14. Corbin Thomas, the 5. In third, Spencer Carlson fourth, Trevor Adelman. Jarrett Bond, a guy that we haven't talked a lot about, just outside of the top 5. So is Kyle Cottam. They spread out all over the front straight like that. That's when the officials have to start communicating with the drivers to let them know where to correctly line up in this situation, as the field was frozen when they came to the halfway break, Cam. Starting to file around the speedway. Once these cars are refired, what are drivers looking for? Are there any quirks or anything that they're listening for? What is speaking to the drivers at this point?
Definitely the water temperature. All the gauges, you're looking at your gauges. If you've made it this far and the gauges are where they're supposed to be, a lot of these guys, they'll put their gauges so the needles are straight up. So you just glance over, and if the needles are all straight up, everything's good. There's been advancements in gauges. Some of these guys are running digital gauges, and that's an advantage at night as well. They really light up, and they'll tell you exactly what's going on. We're at halfway, so if you don't have a problem now, there's no real reason to think that something might caught up unexpectedly.
And so we are in the second half of this one, but still 100 laps to run.
Around lap 97, the 5-car of Corbin Thomas kind of gave it up smooth to Brandon and tucked in the third spot, and now he is actually in a better spot than Brandon, I would say.
So Corbin could potentially, however this restart falls, get up there and get in front of Carlson with that track position, which could be interesting. The 5 of Corbin Thomas on the inside of row number 2 with the 41 of Spencer Carlson, who you mentioned during that halfway break that he's not quite happy with his race car, but that's the beauty of the halfway break. As you can see in the broadcast, the caution lights blinking out. The pace truck will duck in. We will get ready to go back racing after this halfway break and see who will come out on top for the Canada 200 presented by Shockwave. We are back racing. Into turn number 1, they are side. Oh, we have a big get together in turn number 1. Jared Bond. Oh, a huge hit for Brandon French. Grant Powers involved. The 89 machine spun around as well. So the 89, Dave Haworth involved, and that was the other thing that could have come out of this halfway break, is a big incident like that and a few guys having some potentially race-ending damage.
Yeah, those were our first really hard hits of the night, and it's really unfortunate. The 47 of Alderman got tied up on that. The 51, the 44, the 74, it collected a lot of good guys there.
There you can see the tail end of the replay. Adelman trying to get to the inside of Bond, and in that situation just rode up the side of him and was actually parked in his door bars. And while cosmetically that might look like a lot of damage, fortunately the roll cages in these race cars protect the drivers from side intrusion impacts like that.
That would have barely made a scratch on the roll cage of these cars. There's actually plate steel welded to the inside of the ribbed roll cages, so there's no concern there. It does look a little cosmetic, but that is definitely...
Well, we are back here live at West Shore Motorsports Park, and the field's still cycling around under yellow. Brandon French, we are getting a shot of him right now in the broadcast with some creative duct tape work happening, as looks like the roof actually has been partially ripped off in that contact there. The rear deck lid is going to be what they have to really focus on. You can see some members of the North Provincial Pipeline team there with Jason Frost going back to work on the right side of that car. And duct tape sometimes is a racer's best friend, Cam.
Absolutely. They'll do what they can to get this car out, but while that was happening, the 47 of Trevor Alderman actually got into the pits. They checked and made sure that their front end wasn't into the radiator or anything. He got back out, and we talked about those 3 laps of the yellow flag not counting, and he used that to his advantage. I don't believe he's a lap down.
Yeah, that'll pay dividends, and of course with the seesawness of his race so far, we could even see him up at the front as we get a shot of Trevor circling around there, the 47 machine out of Quesnel, and you saw the back end of Brandon French's car, which was nice, new and shiny at the start of this thing, and unfortunately he's aged it slightly over the course of this race already.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Like or in the introduction, that was my winner of the best appearing car.
And Adelman, we just got an overhead shot. Doesn't look like too much damage. Looks like the crew just put on 2 little strips of duct tape, which you can see the strips of silver there on the broadcast, and the hood a little bit bowed up. It doesn't look like anything too serious, so hopefully nothing in the steering bent from Trevor riding up on the side of Jarrett Bond's car. With that halfway break, what do you think Rory was thinking at the head of the pack? If anything changed, or I don't think he would be looking to make too many changes after that halfway point. What's he trying to see here once this thing goes back green?
I think he's just thinking everything is going according to plan. He probably told his crew everything is really good. They might have changed one little tire pressure or whatever, and he would be really looking forward to get that going and hopefully taking it home.
All right, the 1 green sign, I believe, has been given as we get ready to get this thing hopefully under green for at least a lap after the halfway break. Again, the 3 laps of no yellows counting has already been allotted, so the last few caution laps have been counting. 103 laps have been completed at this point. And the green is back in the air. We are racing once again as Brandon Carlson of the 14 machine had Corbin Thomas really looking to his inside, and Brandon kind of slammed the door on him going into turn number 2.
That much weight into your car with adding the fuel, like I said before, it's behind the rear axle, so it wants to lift the front end off a bit, so you're going to have a bit less front end grip, but it looks like they've accounted for that, and he's running strong.
Yeah, leaders going into turns 1 and 2 right now as you get a shot of just how far everybody is already spread out throughout this field. Kurt Frost go to the inside of Corey Mears for a battle for position further on back in lap traffic. But Brandon Carlson is sticking right with Rory Smith at the moment. And they're actually kind of gapping right now. Corbin Thomas in that 5 car by quite a considerable amount. 41 is Spencer Carlson battling for the 4th position as Corbin Thomas still keeping pace with the top 2. There you can see the train developing in between your top 3, and 4th place Spencer Carlson as they just come into shot now. And you got to wonder if those changes at the halfway break for Spencer and the 41, if they might have went the wrong way.
It's still too early to tell. You don't know. They may be gambling and just knowing their tires are going to be really worn and they're going to have an empty gas tank, and you never know, they could really turn it on and have something there. That's what Kyle's doing.
Trevor Adelman almost had a moment in front of Spencer Carlson as Trevor pulling into the pits. Yeah, very tough break for Trevor as you get a look at the 47 car who was up in 5th after that collision there, pulling into the pit area. Tough break for the driver out of Quinnell. Again, oh, wow, a big get-together. The 44, Grant Powers, the 4 car of Kyle Cottom, and the 41 of Spencer Carlson all getting into it. And I think I caught the tail end of it. Kyle and Spencer were going at it, and I think Kyle might have just got a piece of him in the back end, and Grant Powers, indicated by the front end damage on the 41 of Spencer Carlson, I think just got into Spencer. Wrong place, wrong time situation there, Cam.
They were racing super hard. I didn't see the incident, but a slower car was involved, and these things are going to happen, and this yellow flag, it is going to stack these guys back up, and the leaders, it's a breath of fresh air for the leaders right now. They don't have to deal with that. And so, you know, drama definitely, there's only 80 laps. It's go time.
As you can see, some heavy damage to the front of Kyle Cottom's number 4 machine.
Yeah, that's tough luck for him. But like you were saying, the 55 car, here he is again. He's in a great spot. We haven't talked about him for a while. We know he has a fast car, and he's in the top 5 now. So it's just...
And there you can see Kyle in the 4 car. They have that front fender taped back on, but by the looks of things, they are lining it up so that they can actually bring it into the pit area and have more of a proper look. Is still a little bit of dragging on that front fender on that left front tire, which is never what you want, and that can cause problems as the run goes on and can even puncture a tire.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look good for Kyle right now. Like I said, we were all hoping for him. He's a bit of a track favorite here amongst the fans and myself as well.
As we get ready to go back racing, so Rory Smith taking the inside for the restart. There you can see the field filing by on the keg track cam. Spencer Carlson minus every single piece of bodywork on the front of that 41 car. Lined up and ready to go at the tail end of the field. The pace truck will pull off. Ken Osmond, longtime pace truck driver, behind the wheel of the Shockwave Ford Raptor. There you can see Brandon already right almost on the door of Rory Smith as the drone cam will take to the restart coming off at turn number 4. We are back green on lap 127, and Corbin Thomas almost popped out on the number 16 of Rory Smith as they head down the back straight. There you can see Rory Smith out in front, and Brandon Carlson just slots into second. Thomas has been so close to getting around Carlson on those last 2 restarts. Oh yeah, there's the 49 machine, Tyler Robinson. Lot of smoke billowing out from the 49 as he pulls into the pits. So Tyler already losing a rear end. There's another car on track that is smoking. He'll catch the tail end of it. Robbie Haslam pulling into the pits. You can see that on your screen right now. So 2 cars simultaneously having some motor problems, and we can smell the oil starting to come into the announcer's booth and see all the smoke. And we got a wreck in turn number 1. Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. Oh, big crash as everybody's stacking up, and there probably was oil in turn number 1, and that is what caused that issue.
I feel horrible. I should not have said anything.
I think we gave him the commentator's curse a little bit.
Yeah, I should have, yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, interesting situation down there is one car spinning in the oil. I believe that was the potentially the 55 of Kurt Ron Payne. And yes, Kurt has some pretty serious damage to the right side of his race car. So Kurt, who was just outside of the top 5, as Robbie Haslam's car actually caught on fire when it came into the pit area. Yeah, there you can see Ron Payne sitting stopped, and then Bond, Learholm trying to stop. Learholm did a half spin, and Corey Mears getting involved in that. Jarrett Bond's car has come to a complete stop. It's beat right now as you get an overhead shot. And the sweep crew down there is getting ready, and yeah, we are definitely smelling some serious smells of oil as the racetrack getting it from both fronts. The 49 to Tyler Robinson and the number 71 to Robbie Haslam, who actually had to get an oil fire put out. And unfortunately, Jarrett Bond, you can see him climbing out of the 51 car. Tough break, a guy who normally gets a top 5 run, and unfortunately putting the door skin right up onto the deck lid. An early end to his evening. And it's always tough for these guys that come from all the way from the north of BC down here to run, and to have that race end early for them is definitely not what anybody wants to see. There is fluid, and there will be speedy dry put down to clear up that fluid, which isn't exactly the best thing when you're trying to get slick race tires to hook up, and that's going to be on the inside of the racetrack. So you have to wonder, does the inside lane still remain the preferred groove, or does the outside lane become the preferred groove for this restart? And I think once we get this cone restart after the next time we go green, we're going to see the first indication of that.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. And with Kyle now, you seem to get mixed up with Spencer Carlson's 41 car. Talk us through what happened.
Yeah, we ran up on a lap car, and Spencer, I kind of got into Spencer there, and he got into the lap car, and that was it.
Anyone's fault, or just a result of having so many cars on the track in this sort of race?
Well, just a result of lap traffic. I mean, they're supposed to run their groove, but, you know, circumstances, right?
I know you're a local guy as well, Victoria guy. How disappointed are you? I know you're a local guy as well. How disappointed are you to be out right now?
Well, I mean, that's racing, right? You know, you win some, you lose some. We've been pretty fortunate all year. We haven't put a body panel on this thing, and now it's a front clip and a bunch of body panels.
When we say the front clip, the rear clip on these race cars, it's really a 3-piece kind of deal on these late model chassis.
They are, and they are designed for this thing. And they're crush zones and stuff, and that's what you want. You want a bit of give in these front end. You can get hurt if there's no give in these. You don't want a sudden stop. We know that now. These are advancements in race cars, and these to put a new front clip on your car, sure, it's not fun. It is expensive, but you can get back to having a really good race car.
All right, I think we're going to take a another quick commercial break here right before we go back racing. Stay tuned with us on Chek and Rev TV for the rest of the Canada 200. Two separate oil downs around the racetrack. We talk about some quick crash repairs. There's Spencer Carlson, who was involved in one of the other earlier yellows, and that's a case of cosmetic damage. These cars run fiberglass bodies in a lot of cases, and the door skins are thinner sheet metal, so it's really a case of just ripping off the excess panels that are damaged in that situation, making sure that nothing really serious is hurt with those race cars. 143 laps that have been completed at this moment. That 16 car has been out front for, well, pretty much all of them except for, well, the first 10 or so after that restart earlier on in this one, where he managed to get out front, get the lead, get that clean air, and that clean air has been something that he has not been in a hurry to relinquish, Cam.
The gauges, they have lights on, so if those lights come on, that's telling you to look at your gauge. You've got a problem, to at least monitor, or your night might be over.
There you can see how the field has elected to bunch itself up. The 16 of Rory Smith starting on pole, the 14 of Brandon Carlson on his outside. Then you got the 5-car Corbin Thomas in the inside of row number 2, which is the line he's taken pretty much every single opportunity. The 81 of Jason Frost on his outside. Then you got 2 damaged race cars, the 10 of Wes Mader and Spencer Carlson, who has cycled around up to 6 if he can hang on to that spot. Again, one of the advantages of choosing the outside lane for this restart on the cone restarts. So caution lights are out around the speedway. We'll get ready to go back racing. 148 laps completed, 149 when they cross the start-finish line as the Raptor picking up the pace in front of the field coming off of turn number 4. We are once again green. Into turn number 1, Brandon Carlson this time is got about half a car on Rory. That 14 car is able to start eating away. Well, he's starting to pull away rather, and Rory's going to try and eat back away at that advantage. Back up front, Brandon Carlson leading the way, and I think Rory Smith is starting to close in a little bit more, and Corbin Thomas definitely sticking with these guys a little bit more than he was in the first half after the 100-lap break.
It's definitely, the hunt is on for the 5 car. You just get that feeling for sure.
Yeah, the pace is picking up. Oh, we got a spinner in turn number 1, and we have a yellow as Brandon Carlson able to avoid that. Mark Camiad was getting around there. Dave Smith, I believe, spun to start that in the Shockwave 15S. Dave doing a good job to keep it off the wall at that point. Mark Camiad and Terry Learholm having to spin to avoid that stopped Shockwave 15 machine. And this is the yellow you were talking about. We'll see what Rory can do, and if Rory's going to take the outside for this restart, or if he's going to go to the inside of row number 2, Cam.
Being the competitor that Rory is, I would expect him to go to the outside and probably try and pay Brandon back for that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, the yellow coming out for Dave Smith, who spun out that number 15 machine. And here's your top 10 rundown as they go. The 14 of Brandon Carlson out front, Rory Smith sitting in second, Corbin Thomas third, Jason Frost, Wes Mader, Kurt Rompayne's got the entire right side knocked off of the 55. He's still in sixth. Kevin Knight, one of those guys we haven't talked about, in seventh. Dave Smith is going to have to go to the back because he was involved in that yellow in eighth. Kirk Frost, who started in last, is going to move up to eighth, so a top 10 run going for Kirk. Nicely done there. Dave Haworth, who has some a bit of damage to that number 89 machine, and Corey Mears also rounding out those final few positions. All right, we are back here at West Shore Motorsports Park. And the field still under yellow out here at West Shore Motorsports Park. Again, cycling around with the 14 of Brandon Carlson, your race leader. As there you get a good shot overhead. Thanks again to the Keg. The Keg, a huge supporter out here at West Shore Motorsports Park with their Victoria locations, but the corporate Keg coming on board with the whole racing scenario and stepping up for this broadcast, which is a cool tie-in with the local racing scene here at West Shore Motorsports Park, Cam.
Well, like I said before, the fans and the racers here, they support businesses that support racing. I wouldn't be surprised to go into a Keg next week and see a bunch of these faces, that's for sure.
Yes, again, field still cycling around. Again, the Shockwave Motorsports pace truck out in front of the field at the moment as the cone has been put out in turn number 4. And with that cone out on the racetrack, we will see if Brandon Carlson, and trying to time that restart so he can do what Brandon Carlson did to him and get a straight shot around the outside of him and clear him going into 3. So you're going to see a little bit of gamesmanship on this restart, I think, Cam.
It's definitely game time right now. They'll by the time they get to 3, the guy who's they're not gonna want to have give a nose to the other guy, and I expect them to be on the gas soon.
We are back racing. They're going to be side by side for the lead. Whoa, Jason Frost up over Spencer Carlson, and a huge crash developing behind him as Jason Frost riding up the side, and Doug Haworth in the 89 machine into the outside wall as well. A wild, wild moment on this restart, and Cam cautions, breathing cautions once again.
Yeah, I missed that. I was watching Rory and Brandon up front. Like we predicted, it was definitely game on, but still here we are. Yellow's playing a factor, and it'll be interesting once again.
And that was a very, very big moment where Jason Frost literally drove up the side of Spencer Carlson's car and took the lone remaining bodywork on the left side, of that machine off. As Frost's car doesn't look like it has too much damage, but Sir Carlson's machine has the sheet metal intact, as well as the remaining fiberglass that is on that race car. And the number 89 of Doug Haworth is coming to a stop there. You can see the tail end there, just putting on the roof so that they can get that car hooked up to the tow truck and bring it back to the pit area. And Spencer Carlson will also head to the pits for service. And we'll see if he sticks this thing out for the last remaining laps with pretty much only the right side bodywork left on that race car.
Well, he's got 3 laps. If he feels that the car is still good, they should be getting that thing off, get that car back on the track and not go down.
So the recovery work will now start on Doug Haworth's car, in that 89 machine out of Kelowna. Tough break for Doug, making his West Shore Motorsports Park debut. Former street stock champion out at the Motorplex Speedway in Vernon as the 14 car, Brandon Carlson. We saw a little bit of an indication there on that last restart of just how Rory Smith was going to play it, and we only saw a little piece of it, but they were going to be side by side going into turn number 3, and it was going to be an epic drag race down the back straight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these last 35 laps. I think everybody is pretty much where they want to be as far as track position, and it's going to be game on. I really hope the 10 of Wes Mader's left rear stays on and doesn't go down with that stuff with the fenders in there. Jason Frost having an excellent run. Kevin Knight, good him. Kirk Rompane still there. We could still have another yellow. I don't want to see that. I want to, from here on in, everybody just throw in the kitchen sink at it and let it hang out, and let's have a really good race to the finish.
So yeah, Spencer Carlson, don't see a whole lot of activity. They are trying, I think, to tape on what is left of the left side bodywork. You can kind of get a shot of that now as we see it on the broadcast, kind of panning over. You can see Spencer's car kind of in the dark there as your field continuing to cycle around under yellow with the 14 of Brandon Carlson. Race leader trying to go for the 2-peat in that 14. And Cam, you managed to, you got there, and here comes a replay, actually, of the incident. Jason Frost right upside, getting some big-time air over Spencer Carlson. And that thing, Jason was almost up on the roof, so it's very impressive that car doesn't have pretty much, more damage than the looks of it.
I would be surprised after contact like that if he's driving the same car he was before that contact, but you could be lucky and he could still pull off he could even still win. He's in a great spot.
What kind of damage does a hit like that do where the car comes down to earth from such a high height?
Well, it could be something as simple as just knocking the wheel alignment out. A tire can come up and get into your body and get a slash on it, and you push your tire hard and it comes apart 10 laps later. You just don't know. At the same time, with this track position or whatever, you could still hang on to a decent finish.
And Jason Frost will be sent to the back again as he was involved in the yellow. There is one more time your top 10 rundown as Brandon Carlson, the 14 car, is still your race leader. Field still cycling around under yellow. 167 laps completed as, again, we've used up the 3 laps where the caution laps do not count as the pace truck is pulled out in front of the field.
Unfortunately for Jason Frost, because he was involved in that yellow flag, he has to go to the back. But it's still not over. There's 30 laps for him.
Here we go. Caution lights blinking out. And again, since we didn't get a complete lap in under green, it'll be a single file restart so we can get these guys up and running. Pace truck pulls off, and Brandon Carlson will lead him back to the green. We got a spinner off at turn number 4. Rompane French going around. And we got ourselves another yellow. So in that situation, I think we might even have, no, there's some people pointing towards turns 1 and 2, but I don't believe there's anybody stopped over there. But Brandon French and Kurt Rompane getting around in turn number 4. And this is just a situation where these race cars are starting to really not drive the best. And in this situation where the tire is gone, you can have an easy spin like that on one of these restarts. And we will see who makes that move coming up next. Unfortunately, Doug Haworth in that 89 machine out after that wreck. You can see him out surveying his car. But the pace truck is pulling off. We are getting ready to go back racing as the field comes off at turn 4. Brandon Carlson leads him back to the green.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. Doug, talk to us. Clearly your car took a lot of damage there. Talk to us about what happened.
Yeah, it was getting a little bit rough there. We were inside a couple of cars there. A guy ran across my nose before that, and we came out on kind of unscathed, just a bit of fiberglass damage. The car was still running really well, so we're still going for it there. And then we had to work back through the pack again after we came in, take a piece off, and get past some slower cars, and then the guy just came right out of me there and kind of pushed me right in the fence. So one of those things, unfortunately, trying to get past the slower cars, it was just a battle to get back forward there.
Just a matter of things, you know, we're in the final quarter of the race. Drivers getting a little more aggressive.
Yeah, it's just everybody's gets ramped up a little bit at the end of the race and forgets if you're inside them or whatever, they got to give you that space, and otherwise it ends up in some kind of carnage, and that's just what ends up happening there. So fortunately, we ran out of real estate there trying to get away from it, but you just kept running up towards the wall, and there's no room left.
Yeah, how frustrating is this for you?
It's super. It was car was like, say, even after all this, it was working really good. We weren't super good in qualifying. We made a few adjustments after that, and the car was steering really well. I could keep it down, and it was just a matter of getting through traffic. And I was patient. It's a long race, and I was trying to be patient to get to the end and get up front there as far as I could, but not today.
Got to go for it. Tough luck. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Kevin, with that interview, and we are getting ready to go back racing as you get a shot of the Reg Midgley Canada 200 trophy, and it is going to be decided with 175 laps completed. Your field coming off at turn number 4 at a big pace, almost too quick for the pace truck as the green flag waves. Brandon Carlson's last lap is 17.411. Oh, we got a wreck on the front straight.
Is Kevin Knight having an excellent run, right? It had this still could shake out, and those guys could move up should the unfortunate thing happen, but they're sitting on something special as well.
So Dave Smith's car into the outside wall. Kirk Frost looks like he has some right front damage to the steering as well. Smith with the left rear quarter panel ripped off. 188 laps completed. There's 12 laps to go. This is going to be a late race restart, and I believe we do have a replay of the incident between Kirk Frost and Dave Smith as they come off turn 4. Frost just monster trucked up the inside of the 15 car, and both cars go into the outside wall. Great work from the Roll Focus production team doing the camera work here as well, and Dave Smith, you could see him in the cockpit not quite happy, and that was probably a situation where both drivers thought that they were clear or had the room to race, and unfortunately it just came together in an unfortunate situation. The inside, he's going over the curb, gets into it, but he saves it.
Nice job.
Wow. Great driving there from Corbin Thomas, who gave it everything he had, but off at turn number 4, the white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for Rory Smith to try and hang on for his second Canada 200 win. Through 1 and 2 they go for the final time. And into 3, clear sailing off of 4. The checkered flag is in the air, and the 2021 Canada 200 goes to Rory Smith in the 16. Rory Smith, your Canada 200 winner, and unlike last year, this one finished under green, but it was a late race restart, and Rory Smith proved that he had what it took to hang on there in those last few laps.
He's just, we've interrupted the celebration right now. We're just going to let you guys, our viewers, enjoy this and let him have his moment with his crew here. Rory, can I have a second?
Woo! That was for Grandma, that one. That was for Grandma, baby. You did a hell of a job, buddy. Awesome job, buddy. Good job.
Rory.
Water! I got one here, Doc. Thanks, Doc.
Rory, just how good does this feel? Congratulations. How good does this one feel?
That's awesome. That one's for Grandma and her best friend Angie. Both passed away this year, so that one's for her. Can't thank all these guys enough. They worked their butts off on the car and couldn't ask for a better team.
Quite the duel with the defending champion Brandon Carlson. How were you able to hold him off?
Yeah, I didn't know I'd get it back around him, but we did. The car was awesome. Little slippery throughout. I think that was just oil on the track from the other cars.
I know this place is very special for you. You have so much family history here. Talk to us a little bit about that and why this particular race means so much to you.
Well, no one in my family won it up until a few years ago. Tried a lot of times, my dad, my uncle, and Grandpa used to run the Speedway. We all grew up at the Speedway, and I'm sure glad I got another one before it's gone.
This one particularly emotional for you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. This one's definitely for Grandma.
And finally, with these fans here, what was it like? Because I know last year we weren't able to have fans. Now fans are back for this historic, iconic race. What's it like to win with fans back in the grandstand?
Yeah, it was awesome to have fans. Glad we got this year in. And I also got to thank my family, Sarah, Bryn, and Emery, for putting up with all the long hours.
What's the celebration look like tonight?
It's going to be long.
Hey, congratulations once again. You're Canada 200 champion.